So, Mark, here we are on Monday. It's not the usual day we release a video, but the big news happened today. It's been rumored
Breaking
forever.
news.
Breaking. Yeah, we got to put up a graphic here. The Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, one of the best hotels on the Strip, is now sold. And the news, I guess it depends on your perspective. It's not good or bad, but yeah, MGM buying Cosmo. What do you think?
Yeah, the rich just keep getting richer, more duopoly, as they say. MGM, Caesars taking over another kind of independent property with their own program and their own players and everything. And MGM coming in and gobbling that up. And I mean, it fits well for MGM because they have properties all around it. And, it kind of connects everything together. So I understand why they wanted to get involved. And if you're an M Life player, you probably love this news. If you're a Cosmo player, you probably hate this news.
Oh,
So
you got to hate it. You got to hate it
yeah,
if you're a Cosmo person, for sure. But let's talk
yes,
about the details here real quick. So MGM Resorts is going to acquire the operations of the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas for $1.625 billion. Now, remember, MGM sold off the land behind City Center, so they only own the operations of City Center. So now they will own that whole kind of complex there. The total price that Cosmo sold for is $5.65 billion, and it's a combination of Stone Peak Partners, Chung Family Trust, and then Blackstone Real Estate Income Trust, which I'm assuming is another, it's not exactly the Blackstone that owns it. So they're selling part of it to another entity. But $5.65 billion, a 30-year lease agreement with 3 10-year renewal options. Now, here's a fun fact, Mark. Blackstone bought Cosmopolitan for $1.7 billion in 2014. So they, in 7 years, they basically tripled their money.
yeah, the good investment there. I know they put 500 million into
Yeah.
renovating rooms on top of that, so there's a little bit more cost, but still, you look at I think what it cost $4 billion to build originally. So this is still a markup. If Deutsche Bank could have held on to it the whole time, they would have made some money off of it long term. But I'm sure nobody really wanted to hold on to it this long, being an
Yeah.
investment firm. So they're
Yeah. I
probably
mean,
happy to get out, but they made some money.
the history of it, it was obviously the bank had to foreclose in the middle of the big crash of the market, and so they opened the property and they operated it for a long time, hoping that they could get a higher price, and then eventually, like I said, in 2014, they dumped it, and Blackstone's done incredibly well. But we have to talk about like what this means, because this is something that's I don't know. I don't think it's very good for Las Vegas. We've talked so much about how we would like to see new players come into the market. You make a good point, though. I was walking with our friend Ian the other day, and I was showing him the tram through City Center and how it goes right by Cosmo, and how they were rumored that MGM was going to be buying it, and now that's true. So it'll be interesting to see how they integrate it. Will they integrate it into the tram? How they sort of create the synergy? Because when they built City Center, Cosmo was being built at the same time, and they sort of had to build around it. So now all part of the program. But there's some other considerations too. Like you said, M Life players probably happy because this will probably be the flagship location for MGM, or maybe sitting alongside Bellagio in that level. But for Cosmo identity players, obviously this isn't great. And Cosmo now is a Marriott property, or they're affiliated with Marriott. MGM is Hyatt, so there's going to be a lot of changes there. But I mean, you've been playing with the MGM M Life rewards and all of that stuff lately? I've stayed in the hotels a lot. I will say that MGM's hotels are a step above Caesars, but my ARIA experience, dirty, hotel rooms. Our friend Bethany had the same experience. There are some operational issues. I worry that the best hotel, or one of the best hotels in Vegas, is going to go downhill.
Yeah, I think anytime a big entity takes over a property, you kind of lean towards that, where things will kind of dip because it's not their sole focus. Where with Cosmo, that was like the sole focus of the property. Now it's a big part of a larger company that owns multiple casinos up and down the strip. They have their own flagship properties. How much are they going to put into this? How much workforce are you going to lose from Cosmo? We talked in the past about dealers. That's one of the best places to be a dealer because they make a lot in tips, make a lot of money. Back in the resort world videos, when we were talking about dealers getting issues with their payouts and everything. So that'll be interesting to see, do the top dealers, do they jump ship? Do the top servers jump ship? So you have to imagine that will be, whenever there's a changeover, there will be turmoil. And then I don't trust MGM's M Life's management to kind of smooth sail through that, I think it'll be fine, but I don't think it'll be near the level it is right now.
It's really this just reiterates how the whole landscape of Las Vegas has changed just in the last couple of years. You talk about the duopoly with Caesars and MGM and how we want new players. I wonder if MGM may sell off a property or the operations of a property, maybe their lower tier properties, in order to kind of focus more on their nicer hotels. That would make sense. I do hope we get more players in the Vegas space, but over the last couple of years, we've seen everything from MGM Grand, Bellagio, City Center sell the land underneath them. We know Venetian selling, Tropicana selling, Rio has sold. Rumors of Planet Hollywood still selling. The Luxor getting torn down, which isn't going to happen. But I mean, there really is this huge transition in Las Vegas right now of ownership. We're seeing these real estate investment trusts take ownership of the land, with the gaming companies basically becoming operators. And we've seen this through the hotel space as well. Companies like Hyatt, who 10 years ago had significant real estate holdings, have been selling those off, moving towards management companies as well. So this isn't only in the gaming space, but if Vegas has suffered under this sort of corporate bubble the last few years, this is just another form of that. I mean, do you see this getting any better? Do you feel like we're just still in for, in this Vegas corporate hell for the next, couple decades, or what do you see the future being?
Yeah, because all these deals are pretty fresh, so I feel like it's here to stay for a bit. This comes in swells. It goes, independent, then corporate, and then maybe it'll come back to independent when it gets stagnated and the corporations aren't making the money they want and they sell off some properties and people kind of refurbish it. And that's what I'm hoping the Rio does. And I'm really curious to see what they do with that property, because they want to, rehab the whole thing, bring in new high hotels, or at least the new branding. So if that is successful, I think that could be kind of a way out of this. Maybe, that's kind of like the first one I'm really excited to see what happens with, because it's not a new property. It's a new owner coming in and rehabbing an older property. So we'll see how that goes. If that goes well, maybe, we see them sell New York, or something like that. And they work on rebranding that, and we get new ideas, fresh perspectives, anything but this resorts world cookie cutter. I had to throw it in there,
Yeah.
business hotel that we've been seeing going forward in Vegas lately.
Well, that's what's disappointing, right? We've wanted new players in town. Genting comes in. To your point, the owners of Rio. We have, Bally's Corporation buying Tropicana. So we do have some new players. San Manuel buying Palms. So there is some opportunity to get some fresh blood in here, at a time where, we see the Venetian selling. Sheldon Adelson passed away. Steve Wynn is long gone from Wynn Resorts. Kirk Kerkorian had passed away a few years ago. So all the early visionaries of Vegas are gone. And we went through this corporate era the last, 10, 20 years that they sort of ushered in. And something else is going to happen here. But I think you're right. I think the lower tier properties may get kind of sold off. And that's where we might see some innovation. And Rio is a great example of that. Let's see what they do there. Palms, not so much, because it's already sort of been renovated. And it's, I doubt they'll change it
who
too much.
knows? You would have said that with Hard Rock and Virgin, but look what they did. So they could mess up the Palms. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, but that gives me hope, though. Talking about Virgin, you have Derek Stevens and in downtown, lots of Jonathan Jossel at Plaza doing great things downtown. Genting, while maybe they built a corporate hotel, maybe they'll learn. They're a new player. San Manuel, the owners of the Rio, Bally's Corporation. So we do still have more players in town now than we did even a few years ago. So hopefully that's good news. But for now, or when this closes, MGM will own every casino on that side, that west side of the Strip, from Russell Road all the way up to Flamingo. So you're talking about Mandalay Bay, Luxor, Excalibur, New York, Park MGM, all of City Center, Cosmo, and Bellagio. Not to mention Mirage just on the other side of Caesar's Palace.
And I think you make a good point about downtown. I think that's where, what we want is where it's happening. We want innovation. We want people to have their own vision. And we've seen that downtown. And that's kind of, a proponent of being downtown. They needed to do something unique, different to draw people in. And, 10 years ago, downtown wasn't that busy, and now it's always packed. So you've seen the push there. And with all these other states opening up, online gaming and having their own casinos and sports betting, Vegas doesn't quite have the draw it did. So I think that they're going to be forced into it down the line, just because less and less people will start coming, because it doesn't offer that uniqueness that it used to. So maybe corporations will be forced into hiring somebody creative.
Yeah. Well, let's hope
we can
so.
hope.
Let's hope. Now, this is expected to close in the first half of 2022, so I'm sure we'll be talking about it a lot more on our MTM Vegas news show here on the YouTube channel. We'll have a regular episode out this Thursday or Friday. We'll have the MTM Vegas podcast as well this week, so check out everything we do at mtmvegas.com. But don't forget to like this video, but more importantly, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you think about this Cosmo sale. Is this terrible for Las Vegas? Are you sad about one of the top hotels in Vegas falling into corporate or MGM's corporate grasp? Let us know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
See you next time.